Now I would request sir to start the session. So if you can.
Yeah. All right. Thank you very much. I guess my voice is clear to everyone, right? I'm audible. Hello. I'm audible.
Yes.
All right. Thank you. Good evening, everyone. Welcome again to this demo session on Primavera P6. We had a demo session earlier, I guess a week before. Maybe a few of you have joined that too. So just welcome again to this demo session on Primavera P6. And today we will be discussing about like what's going to be the content of the course, right? What you will be learning in the entire course, and also some of the glimpse of that course I'll be providing you today. So let's get started without any making further delay. All right, so let me just first give you a brief idea about like, what is included in this entire course, right? Okay, so here in Primavera course, you'll be learning everything from scratch, right? See, most important thing, first of all, to the people who are not very aware of this particular software. So let's say you are working into the side as well, right? So what is complex in a project? What need to be monitored, right? What a project managers look, what is important parameter on the project. So if you think on those things, right, then you'll find that the most important key parameters could be time. Your project should get ended into the time, whatever is allocated to you. Cost, right? It's definitely a very crucial, you can say a factor, or the key element of any project. Then your resources, right? So these are the few major things like resources, your time, your cost, which you need to track, which you need to monitor every time, right? So this particular tools, Primavera gives you, opportunity to track and to monitor all these important parameters. You prepare a schedule over it. You give duration relationship between the activities so that you can track your activities. You can track your cost. You can track your, time. You can track or monitor your resources as well. So if at any instance you are getting over cost, over budgeted, sorry, right? Or maybe, if you are getting delayed, then you can at that same point, you can get to know that yes, this is something which is not going correct in my project, and you can raise it, you can escalate it to the top management, and you can take necessary action, right? So there's something planned versus actual you'll be able to see with the help of this particular software, which gives you an opportunity to schedule your project and to track your project, right? Now what are the things we'll be covering in this entire course? So first of all, these are the highlights of the training. Project lifecycle, you'll learn about, at the very first time, you'll be learning about, project lifecycle and basis of project management, how the project goes on, like what are the different stages involved in a project, and basic things about project management, right? Then you'll master on how to schedule your project, right? If you get a scope, right? If you get a contract copy, right? A piece of contract, right? There you'll have an entire scope. Then how to break that particular scope into WBS, and further how to break those activities so that you can, monitor, or you can go to the micro level, right, in terms of scheduling. Then deep down into the advanced feature of Primavera P6, we'll be discussing about all the features from basic to, advanced level, earned value concept and other things, how you can track cost, resources and everything, right? Earned value management, it's quite very important, right? You can predict like what is happening on the basis of current scenario, what is happening in your project. You can predict the future, right? If you are delayed, then how much is the total cost which you are going to, uh, which you'll be, making in your project, right, at the end, or when your project is going to end at the end, right? Then these decisions you can take with the help of earned value management. Then resource and cost management, project monitoring and delay analysis, PMS system and dynamic dashboards in Excel. Now, at the end, when it comes to monitor it, right, when it comes to prepare some kind of dashboard with the help of graphics, you can change the entire data into the graphical way so that, it's easy to convey to the people or to the management. All these things you'll be learning on this entire course, right? We'll be discussing about basic and introduction of project planning and management, right? Getting started with the project scheduling in Primavera, how the software works, right? What are the basic things? First of all, you need to know like what runs into the theory, right? And then when it goes to the software, how it behaves. So first of all, you need to learn like what happened in the backend. Okay, so we'll be discussing about theoretical example, how critical path method works and all, right? Then creating a project scope plan and activity schedule. Okay. Then project schedule management using Primavera P6. Understanding process calculation logic in Primavera and without resources, right? So we'll be discussing about if you don't want to monitor your resources, then how a simple schedule can be prepared, and all these detailed things like what is fixed duration and unit, fixed unit per time, fixed duration and unit time, right? What is the difference between duration percentage complete type, physical percentage complete type, and unit percentage complete type? When you should use which particular method? Group sorting and filters in Primavera, project progress monitoring and updating, right? Formatting, printing reports, making reports and all, user preferences and creating resources and roles, right? Resource optimization and management, project delay analysis and delay recovery plan, project cost management, earned value management, project monitoring, and PMS dashboard, right? Let me just give you a quick overview, like how the dashboard would look like. This is something how you can prepare a dynamic dashboard, right? Let's go. Project cost and delay assess using Primavera P6. Yeah, just give me a minute. I'll just give you an idea how you can do that. Now, this is something like, with the help of Primavera data. If you'll see here, we have tried to monitor the physical progress of the project. These are the activities involved in the project. And this is a very important concept of weightage, which is quite important to know as a planning engineer. Then here you will see this is cumulative planned progress of each and every activity in the respective month, right? What would be the planned progress of this particular first activity, right? In the month of Jan, then in Feb, and like this, right? At the end, if you'll go to the bottom, you can see the entire cumulative progress of the project, how your project is achieving the progress, right? To the 100%. And similarly, here is the actual progress percentage. So you have planned and you have actual, and with the help of this entire data, right, you can prepare this kind of curve. This is called as S curve. Okay. Now here you can monitor what you have planned in the month of Feb. It's something around 60%, and what you were able to achieve, it is something around 40%. That means there is a difference of variance of 20%. Now how you can come to know about the delay here? If I'll go and choose a shape, right, and if I can draw a line over here, right, like this, let me just increase the weight a bit. Okay. Now, if you'll see, this is something I have planned in the month of Feb 20, right? Now, what is the actual percentage you have achieved in the month of Feb? That is something around 40%. Okay, if you can see from here. Now, what is the delay? At what particular month now you are achieving 60% progress? This month. So what is the delay here? With the help of curve, if you want to read out, right? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 4 months of delay in your project. So this is a graph which will help you, to analyze your project, to monitor your project, to track your project, right? What is the variance going on, right? You can also draw the graph like, plan versus actual of each and every month. Okay. So these are the things we'll be learning, like how to make this physical progress thing, right? If a percentage of activity will get completed, then what is the impact on your overall project in that, right? If you'll go to this dashboard, so this is a dynamic dashboard, right? If I'll click here, I have 3 packages. That means 3 contacts in this particular project. So if I'm changing the name, right, you can see the contractor name is also getting changed at the top, right? And these all values are getting changed, right? Now, these are all things dynamic. You can click here, you can go to monthly update. You can click here, you can go to cash flow, you can click here, go to timeline and all, right? So these gives you a much flexibility. This is something in Excel kind of advanced features, right? How you can create all these kind of monitoring tools. Now, what is happening here? If you'll go down, we have divided the entire project into 3, right? We have divided into 3 packages, packages 1, package 2, package 3. Now, this is something I'm monitoring on the basis of scope. Let's suppose I have just mentioned, like, this is something, the plan, like I have total, site clearing work, which is 1500 square meter. Okay, which is 1500 square meter. So I'll plan it out, like in the month of December, how much I am completing, in the month of Jan, how much I am completing. Now, if you'll go down here, you'll see that the entire progress of this package 3 is 7%. Now, let's suppose on the month of December, I have completed this 1000 square meter. Now, if you'll go down, you can see the progress has got increased to 12%. So this is something happening. You just need to put your site data here, and you can achieve the progress, and you can see the change, right? What is the overall progress? Then what is the calculation? What is the logic behind all these things? Now, if I'll delete this, you can see again it is 7%, and overall project is 11% completed. Now, if I'll write it down 1000, so this particular contact is getting 12% progress, right? But here, if you'll see, it was around like 11 before, if I remember. So it's 3% progress here, right? So it's not every time correct that if you have broken down your project into 3 contacts, right? So whatever the progress, the third contract or maybe any of the contracts will getting it, right? On the basis of whatever you have scope completed, right? So the progress on the overall project will be less as compared to the contract, right? And this concept is being derived with the help of weightages. So weightages is a quite important thing that you should understand, and that we'll be discussing on this particular course as well, right? So these are some basic things which you'll be learning. This is kind of rough schedule data which you get into the Excel, and you need to prepare, schedule with the help of this data. Okay. Now, coming back to the question, there's a question: how can we do a project cost and delay analysis using the Primavera software? Now, see, I'm in this software, right? Let me just open up any of the schedule here. If I'll open this schedule, right, you can see these are the activities, right? And this is the status of activity. These bars in the Gantt chart shows you like when your activity is going to start and when it is going to complete. And if there's a delay, these overlapping of the bar will not be exact. They will not get overlapped exactly, right? If you can see here, okay, and if you can see here, these bars are not exactly overlapped. If you can see, this blue bar is going outside this yellow bar. That means this activity in actual took more days as compared to the planned one, right? So these are the activities. Now, what you can do, you can add the resources. These are the resources. Now, if you want to add resources to your activities, you can add resources. Here you can give the rates. With the help of these rates, these your activities will get, some overall cost. Okay. And that overall cost will be monitored, right? You can, if we don't have any resources at this point of time in this, or maybe yes, we have some kind of resources. So if you will go here, resource users profile, right? So you can see the resource users profile of this, right? This is the resource users profile in this particular schedule. We don't have a lot of resources here. If you want to see it into this in this way, how many resources are working in these particular activities in this project, right? How much time they are consuming, you can see and track here. Okay. If you will go here, right, you can see the cost. Now see the cost. This is the budgeted total cost in yellow. Green color shows the actual total cost, and this blue color is showing the remaining cost. If you want to see in the form of chart, you can see this, right? On this particular quarter, right? How much is the total cost your project is going, right? Planned total cost, actual total cost. How much money you have burned in your project in this particular quarter, or maybe you can see these details in the month of in months, or maybe in a daily basis as well, right? So this is something we'll be learning on the course, that how you can do this thing. Okay. All right. Okay, so now let us go ahead, move forward, and discuss about the things which we want to, discuss in this class, right? So I'll be giving you a quick overview about few of the topics, right? and then I will try to prepare one simple schedule so that you can get understanding how the things are being working. Okay. So first of all, let me just give you a quick definition of project management and talk about the stages in a project. Okay. Now, project management is the application of knowledge, skills, experience, tools, and techniques to project activity to meet project requirement. Right now, it is what it is the application of your knowledge, skills, experience, tools, and techniques. Okay, to the project activity so that you can you can meet the requirement of the project. You can complete your project successfully with the application of your knowledge, skills, experience, tools, and techniques. Okay, project management is a process of achieving set goals within the constraint of time, budget, and resources. As I told you, if you talk about the three major elements in your project, then that is what time, your budget, and your resources. That means what things need to be monitored every time: cost, time, and resources. Now, if you have less time, right, ultimately you need to increase the number of resources. So if something is getting wrong in your project, it will impact the other parameters as well, right? And when you increase the number of resources, definitely your cost is going to increase. Okay, so these all are interrelated, so you need to make sure as a project manager that these three things are running perfectly in your project. Then only you will be able to finish your project in the given time, in the given cost, and within the limitation of resources you have, right? So with the help of this particular software, you can track all these three things perfectly. That's why we are using this. Now, the nature of project, as I talked you, your project is time bounded, cost bounded, resource bounded, and quality bounded. You also need to fulfill the right, fulfill the required quality need. Okay, so you need to fulfill all these criteria. Now, these are the stages in any of the project. Controlling will not go in very much detail in this session, right? I'll just give you a brief, like what happens in initiation stage. You only you only define the objective and the initial scope of your project, right? Financial analysis, stakeholders analysis, and formal approvals, right? What does it mean? Let's suppose you have decided that you need to connect your town to the city, right? Then you'll only make an initial scope, like you need a road, you need a maybe flexible payment, or maybe a rigid payment need to be constructed, but that is the part of only initial scope. You haven't decided that what is going to be the proper alignment, what is the thickness of the different layers coming into the road, right? All these things in initial stage, you will only decide that you need to connect this town, okay, to this city, and for that you require a road. Okay, financial analysis. Now, who is going to fund this? From where the money is going to come to do this thing, to complete this activity, right? Then stakeholders analysis. Who are the different stakeholders going to be, involved in this project? Who are the designers? Who are the engineering team? Who are the government agencies, financial banks, and all, right? Then formal approval. Do you require any formal approval in the beginning, right? Let's suppose this road is going to the forest department land, right? Then you need an approval from forest department that yes, this is something we are planning and we require this much of land from your end, right? So this is something all being done at the initial stage. Otherwise, you need to change the alignment of your project, of your road. Then in the planning stage, what you will do? You will prepare a detailed scope, cost estimation, and budget. You'll do the procurement planning. What are the materials you need to procure? At what time? What will be the quantity of materials you will require? You will not dump each and everything in the beginning of the project, right? So you need to properly design, like what is the quantity of materials you are going to procure at what particular time. Then team development, quality assurance, risk analysis, breakdown structure, work breakdown structure, activities, a sequence, schedule development. All these activities will be doing in a software, right? Now, execution, award of contract. Definitely, it's going to be the stage in the mid of this planning and execution. Before the execution start at site, you need to award the contract. then contract administration, execution as per plan, right? Coordination with various agencies and stakeholders, resolution of issues, data and information collection, and all these things comes into the controlling, right? You'll monitor against the plan, whether the whatever you have planned, let's suppose you have planned in the month of June, you are going to complete 50% of your project, but unfortunately that was only 45%. So this is coming. Why this is coming? Like how you are going to analysis, how you are going to make this analysis, right? What is helping you out? Your plan, right? Your plan is helping you to take this decision or to give you these results, right? If you have not planned your schedule, if you have not planned your project, you are not going to get these details. Like in this month I have achieved 50% progress, in this month I am 5% delayed or something like this. These results will only come up to you when you'll have a proper plan for your project. So for that, you need to know the concept of weightage. You need to know how to break into WBS. You need to know how to break it down into the activities and all, right? Analysis of progress, catch-up plan. If you are getting delayed, you need to know what is catch-up plan, how it works. Okay. Quality control and risk analysis. Okay. So these are the different activities you execute during these stages. Then these are the drill down of those previous stages we have discussed: concept, planning, designing, award of contract, execution, commissioning, operation, and demolition. Overall, your project goes around to these 8 stages. Okay. Now, coming to the Primavera part. This was just a glimpse of basic things you should know, whether you are studying a Primavera, you are studying design or anything into the construction field. First of all, you should know what is the project, what is project management, how the project goes into different stages and all. Now, coming to the Primavera, how you'll achieve your schedule or how you can prepare a schedule with the help of your data. Then there are few basic things you need to have. First of all, when you are going or when you are planning to prepare a schedule, right? There are basic things which are required. Okay. What are those? First of all, you need a scope, and from where you will get this BOQ and some sort of information with the contract copy, contract document, right? Like important dates, right? Milestones, from where all these things are going to come from your contract, right? The entire scope from BOQ, so that you can break that scope into the WBS and you can break further into the activity. Okay. Now, what again you need is start date of the project, from where you'll get this contract. Now you need to know the calendar. What is the calendar you are going to follow, right? You are going to work 10 hours in a day, or maybe 8 hours in a day, or 12 hours in a day. You are going to work on Saturdays, Sundays, 5 days, like whatever is the calendar you first of all need to decide, then you can proceed further, right? Then the important thing is relation between the activities. Okay. What are the relation between the activities, and then duration of the activities. Okay. So these are the important things. First of all, you need to know, then only you can move ahead. You can go ahead to prepare your schedule. Now, when you have gathered all this information from your client, or from the different documents and all, right? Simply you can move ahead into the software, and first of all, you'll create OBS and EPS, organization breakdown structure and enterprise project structure. Okay. Then you'll create a project, dummy project. First of all, we will create, then we will assign a calendar to it. Then we will add WBS, then we will add activities, and then we'll define the relationship between those activities, and we will add resources. When you are adding a resources, ultimately you are trying to add the cost to your project, right? Because resources are what? They may be your labor resources, they may be your material resources, they may be your machinery. So all these things will have some kind of cost associated with them. And ultimately, if you are assigning these resources to your activities, you are going to get some ultimate, overall cost of that particular activity, right? Then you'll be able to monitor your resources. What was the number of labor I have planned I'll use in this particular activity, and what is happening at this particular moment. And if the number of labor is getting increases, then what was the cost for one particular labor? How much extra I am giving in this particular activity, right? What was the overall planned cost in this activity? Let's suppose you have decided that you are going to, input 5,000 for this particular activity, and at the end when you have checked, it was 7,000. That means 2,000 extra had been paid for this particular activity, right? So in this way, you can monitor your resources, your cost, you can track your activities, whether you are going delayed, right? Let's suppose you have decided you will start from 1st of Jan 21, right? And you'll end on 10th of Jan 2021. You started on the same day, but you are not able to finish this activity on the 10th. That means you are getting delayed. And because of this delay in this particular activity, you have pushed all the other activities of your project also. So maybe because of it may happen that if this activity was critical, and even if you have delayed this particular activity one single day, your entire project has got delayed. So that is why to track a project, to monitor your activities becomes important. Now, once you will do all these things, you can say that you have completed your baseline. That means your plan is ready, right? Now, you'll move to the side, you'll start working, and you'll keep on updating the schedule as per the things going into the project, right? And after that, you can in a same time parallelly, you can monitor your project, you can control if something going out of your hands, right? And you can take your own decision with the management and all, right? So this is something you can say a roadmap to create a schedule into the software, and what you can do inside that, right? I'll just give you a brief about, like, I'll show you a demonstration like how you can do all these things inside the software. Now, moving up next, what is WBS, work breakdown structure? Quite important thing, a very important thing, I would say. The very first thing, which is quite important, because if you don't know how to break your scope into the WBS, you cannot monitor your project in a perfect way, I would say. Okay, so that's why WBS becomes a very important thing. Now, why I say like this? Okay, let me just try to give you this overview of this example. This is something, a project. I will give you an idea about this project. This is the entire project where there were 3 different kinds of works. Okay, this is a railway project, WBS. Okay, we were need to construct FOB, foot over bridge, into the Western Railway, into the Central Railway also, and we were having a track line, Thane to Diva station in Mumbai. Okay, which is a track line project, right? Now this is a single project, and it involves all these 3 different works. Western Railway mein foot over bridge, Central Railway mein foot over bridge, and this particular track line. Now see the beauty, or you can see the label which has been defined on this WBS, right? First of all, see, as the things are moving for this WRFOB, Western Railway FOB, in the same way you'll break your Central Railway and you'll break this Thane to Diba. I'm just breaking down the Western Railway FOB to give you an idea what will be happening with the Central Railway, and similarly with the Thane and Diba. So in case of Western Railway FOB, the very first label is what? Departments. Okay, first of all, you have divided the entire scope based on the department. What is the work scope of engineering? What is the work scope of engineering, electrical? What is the work scope of signaling and telecom? Why you have done like this? Let's suppose someday, okay, a director may be coming from engineering department, okay, and he's asking you to give the progress of only engineering department. He is not concerned about all the other things. He is only concerned about the progress of engineering department. So think about, if you haven't divided your WBS into departments, if there was no this label, you have not broken down this label, right? Then would you be able to give this answer? No. So you need to think as a planning engineer that how you need to divide your, or how you need to break your WBS, right? So moving on next, we have divided further into the context label. Now this lot 1, lot 2, lot 3. In engineering, we have lot 1, lot 2, lot 3. In the same way, you could have electrical lot 3, lot 4, 5, 6, and so on, right? These are nothing but the number of contacts. In engineering department, for Western Railway FOB, we have 3 different contacts. That means 3 different contactors. Now, if you want to see a progress of individual contactor, you can easily get. Why? Because you have broken down your WBF into such a way. Then you have on the basis of FOB ID or based on the location, right? We are constructing FOB to in 6 or 7 places. So based on those, we have divided them. Then EPS please mute yourself. Then based on the EPS activity label, okay, approval, procurement, construction, milestones. There could be something more based on the scope, whatever you have in your project. Then finally comes to activity type, foundation, substructure, superstructure, roof structure, staircase, skybox. And finally, at the end, you'll have your detailed activity at the last level. So this is how the WBS has been divided. Why? So that you can get the progress of each and every label. You can get the progress at each and every instant, right? Whatever you are willing to know. If you want to know the progress of superstructure, right, you can get it. Why? Because you have this particular label into your WBS. Okay, so it becomes important to think like this, that how I should divide my entire scope, right, to make a WBS. Now, once this WBS is ready, okay, and once your activities are ready, so these strips, these green and yellow strips are showing your WBS label. And this in white color, everything, these are your activities inside these WBS. Okay. And this is how it looks like inside the software, right? Now, let me give you an idea like how this, works at the back end, right? How this TPM theory works with the help of an example. Before that, let us discuss about the relationship. This is simple. This is A activity. And if A activity is finishing and you are again starting the B activity after this, so this is what finish to start relationship. Now, if you are starting A and B parallelly on the same day, this is start to start relationship. No matter if your activity is going beyond to this B, right? Let's suppose this is 7 days and this is only 3 days. But if they are starting on the same day, you'll have start to start relationship. And if these activities are finishing on the same day, you'll have finish to finish relationship, right? And this is something which is not being used, but definitely we have this start to finish. That means before starting this B activity, your activity A should get finished. Okay. Now, this is something, a concept of lag. Okay. Okay. What is this lag? Earlier, what was happening? We were starting A and B parallelly like this. So we said that we have start to start relationship. Now I have pushed this B activity 5 days after, right? That means instead of starting B at the same point, I am now pushing this B activity a bit more. Okay, 5 days. So now this is start to start plus 5. And here this 5 is what? This is lag, right? Now take an example, real case scenario when you can do like this. Let's suppose you have at the very initial stage, right? When you have, let's suppose 16 footing. Now to go and to do the PCC work, right? You will not wait, like let's suppose you will not wait definitely. Let's just finish the excavation in all these 16 and then we'll start doing the PCC. This is not how it works in actual, right? What you do, you just do the excavation in 3 or 4 maybe, right? And then you will immediately start doing the PCC on those 3 and 4, and you'll continue with the excavation with the rest of the footing, right? At that point of time, this is something activities are being scheduled. Start to start with some time, some kind of lag, maybe 3 days, 4 days, whatever the condition may be, right? In the same way, negative lag also works. Okay. Now, what is critical activity? And what do you understand by critical path? Okay, so this is how the forward path and backward path works, right? If you had drawn network diagrams during your college or maybe during your preparation, you would have a better understanding on this, how it works. Okay, now Okay, so these are the different activities. Let me just change the color. Okay, so this is activity A. Duration of this activity is 12. This is activity B. Duration is 15. This is activity C. Duration is 7. Now, these three are starting on the same day, right? These all three activities are being starting on the same day. Okay. Now, how you'll get this early start, early finish date with the help of this formula. Now, if they are starting on the same day, that means 1st of January 2008, early start date for all these three. With the help of this formula, you can easily get early finish date, right? You have got early finish date like this. Now, since you have relationships, okay, if this activity is ending on 12th and this is the successor of this activity A, then when this activity will start on the 13th. And similarly, again, you have duration. So with the help of duration and this early start, you can get the early finish, right? And this is how you will prepare a forward pass for your activity, right? Similarly, this is how the backward pass will work. Okay. So these early start, early finish, late start, late finish date, right? Overall will help you to find out the float, and float will help you to identify whether the activity is critical or not, right? Now, there are two things, free float and total float. Okay. So the free float of activity is the amount of time by which the activity can be delayed without delaying the successor activity. Now, try to understand in a simple way. You have these activities. This is your first activity A, and then you have successor of this A, B, and then you have successor of this activity as C. You only have these three activities in your project. That's it. Okay. Now, if I would say that this A activity have 5 days as free float, right? That means what? If you'll delay this A activity 5 days, right? This is the free float, guys. And what is the definition of free float? The amount of time by which an activity can be delayed without delaying the successor activity. Okay. So if you'll delay your activity A by 5 days, ultimately this activity is not going to get delayed, right? So that is the meaning of free float. Okay. Now, what is the meaning of total float? Let's suppose this activity A have total float is equal to 2. So total float of an activity is the amount of time by which the activity can be delayed without delaying the overall project finish date. That means what? If you are delaying this activity A 2 days, right, nothing is happening to the overall finish date of your project. But if you'll delay this activity now again to 1 more day, that means 3 days, your project is going to get delayed 1 day, right? So what is important for us? Total float. I'm not saying that free float is not important, but to monitor your activities, whether they are critical or not, total float is something which you need to monitor. If your activity have total float is equals to 0, that means activity is critical. And if they have some kind of total float, you can delay your activity to that much level. Okay, getting it? Now, when you have two activities, take an example. You have two activities, activity A and activity B. Activity A and activity B. Your activity B have total float is equals to 0, and activity B have total float is equals to 2. That means what? If you delay your A activity 1 day, your project is going to get delayed. And if you are delaying activity B to this, your project is not going to get delayed. But if you'll increase 1 more day, your project will get impacted. So let's suppose there is a day when you have less number of resources available with you, or less number of labor at your site, and these two occur at the parallel, A also and B also. Then where you will prefer to send these labors? Definitely to this activity A, because why? You cannot delay this activity even a single day. If you delay this particular work 1 day, your project is really delayed. Okay. How you are able to make this decision? Because you know that the total float in this activity is low, and this activity is something which is critical. And when you are able to make this decision, when you have scheduled and you are tracking your project. All right. I don't know. We have lost the. Is there anything we have missed out? Anyone you want me to repeat? You can write down on the chat box. Because of the issue. This is the same question you have asked I, and I have already answered this question. How you can track cost and delay analysis, how you can do the cost and delay analysis using Primavera P6. Okay. I'll just wait for a few more minutes if you are still confused about looking into able to understand. Right. Now see. Now here comes okay, if you are facing the network problem, you can watch this recording earlier after this, right? You'll get to know. I'll show you again on the software, right? Don't worry. So these were the activities for which we have made forward pass, backward pass. We have find out total float, free float, and all those things, right? So you can see these activities which are highlighted in a red color, they have total float is equal to what? 0. That means these activities are what? Critical activities in your project. And always remember, activities having all the the path of your project having all the activities as critical is the critical path in your project. So if somebody will ask you what is the critical path in this particular project, so A to D to F. This is the critical path because all these activities in this path A, D, F are what? Critical. And critical path will be the largest path in your project. Now, how? If you check this ADF, duration is what? 12 plus 15 plus 3, 30 days. Now check this B, E, F. 15 days, 10 days, 25, and this 3, 28. Now check this C, E, and F. 7 plus 10 plus 3, 20 days. Which is the longest one? ADF, the critical path. Getting it? All right, so this is how it looks like in software. If you are delayed, this is the variance. This is showing the variance, right? This is the planned bar, and at the top, this is actual bar. And these two bars will not overlap exactly in case of variance or in case of delay, right? Now, an important concept comes up here before we move into the software, right? Let me ask you, if you have, let's suppose if you have these 3 activities in your project, okay, you have these 3 activities: design, procurement, and construction work in your project. You people are working at site, right? How you decide that what is the total overall progress in your project? Okay, if you have these 3 activities in your project, let's suppose design work got completed. How you will say that how much, if the client asks you that at the end of the month, that what is the progress of your project in percentage at this particular month, what will be your answer? How you can achieve that thing, how you can make that progress, or how you'll able to know that what is the overall progress in percentage in this particular month? I just show you the S curve. I just showed you the the data on the file where you have seen the overall progress of the cumulative progress of the project month-wise and all, right? So those things are the part of the course, but definitely at this moment, if I'll ask you that what practice you guys are following at this moment, then what will be your answer? Right? So see, never it happens that if I'll say that these are the 3 activities in your project, that's it. So you cannot say that if design work has got completed, I have achieved 33.33% of progress. Or if you have 10 activities in your project and five out of them has been completed, you cannot say that 50% activities has got completed, right? Now, how you can monitor your project, how you can calculate the physical progress, how you can make these decisions that what is the progress of the project in percentage. For that, the biggest role is of weightages. Right? This is something which you need to know. And more important, how to use these weightages. Right? People who are knowing these weightages, they must also be knowing that you are right now you are using cost to divide your weightages, or you are using duration to your weightages to divide your weightages in your activities. But every time, do you think that these two components will work? No. There may be a chance, right? Let's take an example. There's a slab casting work, and another work is plaster. Now it takes less number of duration. It takes less time as compared to the plaster work. But what is more critical? What is more important? Slab concreting. So definitely this activity is more important. It should have more weightages. But if we'll go deciding the weightages with the help of this duration, definitely you'll give less weightages to your this particular activity. So apart from these two factors, cost and duration, you need to take consideration of other factors as well, which we'll be discussing on the course during the course. And now coming back to this picture, if you have these three activities, you need to know that this is not something the correct way to divide the weightages. You cannot say that if design work has got completed, your project progress is 33.33%. This is the correct order how you should divide the weightage. So you can say that if design work has completed, my progress has achieved 5% progress. Again, when you have done the procurement work, you can say now I have achieved 7% more of progress. So overall progress is what? 12%. Right? So all these things are coming with the help of weightages. And this is how the weightages are being derived to each and every level, to WBS, to activities. Right? These things you'll not be able to understand right now, but definitely we'll discuss. Okay. Right now, this is something weightages are being derived, or weightages are being divided into your entire project from the top to the bottom label. Okay, now let's go back to the software quickly and try to see how you can prepare a schedule in a software. Now I'm here. This is the project I have already shown you. Okay, so now I'm going to do here, I'm just going to prepare a simple project with some sample activities, right? And whatever we'll be discussing in the project, we'll be discussing based on the building structure. We'll be taking the consideration of examples of building structure, right, throughout the course. Now here I'm just adding a one simple schedule because we don't have time. We have already exceeded. So I'm just giving a name, demo project. Right? I'll click here, I'll open this. Okay. The very first thing, I'll go here and I'll add the WBS. So I'm just adding 2 WBS here, not much. Right? Pre-construction and I would say post-construction. Right? Okay, just 2 simple WBS. I'll go back to these activities. Okay, so we have added these 2 WBS. Now I'm going to add few activities here. Okay, finish. I'm just adding. I'll show you the sequence during the during the course how you can do step by step. But right now I don't have much time, so I'm not going step by step. Right? Okay, so I have just added these few activities. I'll give them a name. Okay. award of contract, right? Preparation of design, material procurement. Okay. Now, if let's suppose you want to add milestones here, right? Then you have an option here, right? Type of activities, WBS type, finish milestone, start milestone. These are not the part of discussion today, right? Definitely. There are a lot of details inside this software, but we are not going to study everything today, right? Just because of the constraint of time, right? Okay, now I would say foundation work. Okay. We will be following with the help of real schedules, right? But today I'm just taking a dummy schedule to make you understand that how it works, right? Then substructure, and I just give superstructure. Okay, so simply we have added, we'll just give a dummy, durations. Let's suppose I would say 4 days, preparation of design 6 days, material procurement 8 days, foundation work maybe 12 days, substructure work 18 days, superstructure work 24 days, and something like that. I've just given it a dummy things, right? So I would budget total cost resources. I don't want to see right now. Okay. I would like to see baseline start and baseline finish. Go here to dates. I will add actual start, actual finish, start and finish, baseline project finish, baseline project start. All right. That's all for now for me. Okay. So I just have desired information here. Okay. Let me decrease the column width. Since these activities are not started, you can see actual start and actual finish is blank here. Now I'll just change the timeline here. We'll make it a bit short. Okay. So if you'll see, we haven't given any relationship right now. Okay. So what simply I'm going to give, right? I'm just going to put some relationship here. So I'll go to this relationship tab, and now I would say that I will assign, preparation of drawing to this, and then I'll move to preparation of drawing, and I'll assign successor as material procurement. Okay. Then I'll go to material and procurement, and I'll assign foundation work as a successor. I'll go to foundation work, and I'll assign substructure, and I'll go to substructure, and I'll assign superstructure here, right? You can change the relationship here. Like, let's suppose I'll go to foundation work, and I would say that foundation work. Okay, in this case, I know that definitely it could not start, but let's suppose we are making different sections in a same project, right? We have different sections, and somewhere I have completed the foundation work, right? So I'm going ahead with the superstructure. So in that case, you can change the relationship. You can give the lead and lag from here. But right now we have just added all the activities from finish to start relationship simple, right? We are not making anything here. Okay. So I'll now just go and I'll schedule this, right? So that you can say change, you can see the change in the Gantt chart. This is how your activities has got scheduled. Okay. Now let's add some resources here. Okay, so I'll go to the resources first of all. If you'll click here on OK, you can see these are the number of resources. So I'll go here and I'll put it at the end. I just want to move ahead with any one of the, okay, let's just add few new resources. Okay. Finish and finish. I'm just adding 2 resources. That's it. I'll write it. I'll give it a code LR. Labor resource. Demo. Material resource. Demo. Okay. I need to change this. To labor resource. Okay. And I'll give it a maximum unit. Let's take an example 10. I would tell you during the course what is this maximum unit. Actually, this maximum unit comes into role when you want to, show the over allocation. Let's suppose this at this moment, this 10 denotes that you have 10 number of resources, labor resources available with you. Now it's your duty how you plan these 10 labors to be used for different activities. Now, if you'll start adding these labor resources in your project, and if somewhere the number of labors getting used on particular day are exceeding, then it will show you the over allocation. Let me show you how it looks like over allocation. Okay, so this is something. Let's suppose you have maximum unit 2 day by day, right? At this particular moment, you are able to see 10. So this is something how it works. In activity A, let's suppose every day you need 2 labors. Okay. And on activity 2 also you need every day 2 labors. And per day, the flow is what? You have maximum labor 2. Per day, you can give 2 labors and you are using these labors in your different activities. So let's suppose on the very first day, you have only activity 1 where your labors are working. So there is no issue. You have total number of labors 2 and you are using also 2. On the second day also there is no issue. But on the third day, if you'll see, here also you require 2 labors and here also you require 2 labors as per your plan. Now you have maximum labor what? 2. So it will show you over allocation like this, that you need to manage this much part. Either increase the number of resources, either change the, relationship your activities to start like this, right? You cannot, it is not possible for you to execute these 2 activities parallelly in this particular case. Why? Because the maximum unit of labor which is available with you is producing an over allocation here. So we'll discuss about this during the course, what is resource labeling and how you can resolve this issue, right? How you can manage your resources basically. Okay, this is what called as managing the resources. Now let us give a standard cost. Let's suppose I have given 1000 at this moment, and for the material also, okay, we'll give, let's suppose 2000, right, per unit. So let's go back to these activity, and I'm just adding, I'm going to resources and I'm just adding a labor resource here. Okay. And here also in design, I'll add a labor resource. And here foundation work, I'll add labor resource. I'll add material resource. I'll add substructure, maybe material resource, labor resource. And here also I'll add labor resource. I'll add material resource, right? So I've added a resources everywhere. Okay. Now, if you want to increase the, budgeted unit, you can increase and decrease from here. If you'll say here you have given 24 and here you have given 240, in this activity, there's something different, in this activity, something different. So this budgeted is what is the required unit as per your plan. Now, as you will increase or decrease this budgeted unit, you'll see this budgeted cost getting changed. That means your total, this cost is what? This is your plan cost for these resources. Let me tell you how this calculation is coming. If you'll make it this 1, okay. So what was the total average cost you have given here, right? You have given 1000 rupees per hour. Okay, and what is the duration of this activity? 12 days. Okay, and if you go and you'll see, check the calendar here for this, right? You are working 10 hours, 10 hours per day. Is that clear? So it will calculate accordingly what is the overall total budgeted cost required here. Okay, so in this way you can increase or decrease the number of resources you required, right, for each and every activity, and you just need to put these things. Automatically the cost will get calculated. Okay, so at this point of time, what you have done, you have prepared your base schedule. So your base schedule is what? Your base schedule is ready. Now you need to go to project. You need to go to maintain baseline. You'll add a baseline here. Okay. You'll go to project. You'll go to assign baseline. You can just add it as a baseline and done. Now you have planned your project. You have assigned it. Now what you need to do is you need to, when you will start working at site, you need to what? Update this project. So what, how you'll update? Let's suppose we are at award of contract, right? We'll go to status and we'll say this activity has started and completed as per the schedule. So as soon as I push here start and finish, you can see start and finish activities, actual date, actual start and actual finish dates are appearing. Let's go to the second activity. Now here I want to show the delay, or let's suppose it was getting delayed. So it was scheduled to start on 22 of June, but we were able to start this on 26. So I'll select here 26, right? And I would say this activity has started on 26. So if you can see these bars, it has got scrolled like this. Okay, you have planned to start from this, but you have started from this. Now I said that yes, we were able to finish this activity, but we got delayed. Instead of first, we finished it on 5th. We have finished it. So you can see this is how it is showing. Now, in the same way for third activity, let's suppose I said we have started, but we have completed it 60%, right? Now, on what day we have completed 60%, right? It was starting on 28th of July, and till 1st of June, we have only completed it what? 60%. So I will go to June, July, and I would say at the mid of July, I'll schedule this project. So this is the actual condition of my project at the mid of July, right? Because of this delay in the second activity, right? And this in this third activity. On this third activity, my activity should get completed 100% on the 1st of July. But what happened? It was only 60% completed, right? Now, because of this, what you can see the delay in overall project. This is how you can track and monitor the delay. And this is what something called as delay analysis. Now, what is the total delay? If you will see here, baseline start and baseline finish, right? What you can observe from here, as per your plan, you are starting, right? Baseline project start. This is baseline project start. You are starting off 18th of June 2022. And as per your plan, you were about to finish on 10th of September at 2022. But what is happening now, because of this all delay, you started on the same day, 18th of June 2022, but right, today also, right, if you'll go this start and you can go and see this finish date. Now, when you have scheduled, this is on 10th of September 2022, right? This is something showing you the delay. Okay, this is how you can track. Is that clear? And now you can go to these things. You will be able to see the cost. You can monitor the cost as well. What is the cost, planned and actual cost in each and every month? Okay, what is the status of resources and each and every month? You can track like this. Okay, so this is how you can prepare a schedule. You can monitor your resources. You can check whether the schedule is getting delayed or not. You can also pull out the columns from here, right? If I'll go to this column option, and let's suppose I want to see the variance, right? variance in baseline project duration, let's suppose. Okay, and I'll add. Okay, so this is showing you the duration variance. Okay, this is 4 days. This activity is 4-day delayed. This activity is 12 days delayed, and something like this. So you can track everything: your duration, your cost, your resources, everything. Okay, so I hope you have understood what I'm trying to say and how you can monitor, you can use this particular software. Now over to you guys. If you guys have any question, you can ask, and then we'll wrap up the course. Wrap up today's session. Any question from anybody, guys? We have created a network. विपुल नेटवर्क ही तो बनाया है. गैंट चार्ट पे थोड़ा काम कर रहे थे. गैंट चार्ट बनता जा रहा था जैसे जैसे आप एक्टिविटीज ऐड कर रहे थे, ड्यूरेशन ऐड कर रहे थे और रिलेशनशिप ऐड कर रहे थे. तो आपको गैंट चार्ट में काम नहीं करना है, आप नेटवर्क ही क्रिएट करोगे. बेसिकली आप डेटा इनपुट करोगे और आपका जो शेड्यूल है वो प्रिपेयर होता जाएगा. क्लियर? Okay, any other question from anybody? If not, we can close the session. Thank you very much, everybody, for joining this demo session.
Thank you, sir.
Everyone.
It was an amazing session and informative one too. Dear learners, you can check the chat box for more details about the course and the payment link. And I'll drop a Google page link. You can review the session accordingly.